Funeral is about to begin, sir.
I think we just picked up Dracula. It's got a death curse.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Never Not Horror. I am Steve Clark.
And I am Rich Hansel.
We are glad you're back. If you were on board for episode 1 and 2, then you've got a feel for how this show goes. And today, we're not going to time jump very much at all. We're just going to go back. We're staying in the 70s, which future episode is probably my favorite decade of horror ever.
Very,
the 1970s.
Very yes, 70s are awesome.
But we are staying in the 70s, and this time around, we're going down south to Texas. What are we watching, Rich?
We're going to watch 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I said we're going to watch. We're not going to watch it.
We've already watched it, but we're going to talk about it. All right, 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Marilyn Burns, Edwin Neal as the hitchhiker.
I loved Edwin Neal.
He's really good. Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. Jim Seedow as the cook, the old man. Edwin Neal. I already said Edwin Neal. Paul Partain, Franklin. I've got a lot to say about old Franklin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
William Vale as Kirk.
Yes. So we talked last time with the Halloween episode about it being the kind of the template for slasher movies, and there's a case to be made here as well. I think maybe the exception to that rule is to where Halloween and Friday the 13th have one central villain. Texas Chainsaw Massacre has a family of villains.
Right. Very crazy family.
Yes. A little off their rockers. So, if you're new to the show, which there's a fair chance of that, we're new ourselves, walk through the format here. We're going to start the show with our history with the feature film of the episode, talk about what it means to us, what our history experience with it is, and then we will segue into some behind the scenes, fun fact kind of things about the movie, talk about the cast and directors a little more, no spoiler stuff yet. But then we will get to the full plot walkthrough and review, at which point there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, that will be the time to abort and go watch it. And then once we're through with that, we will give our official Never Not Horror rating for myself and Rich. So that is the outline of the way we run things here. So we'll get started. Rich, what is your history with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, I saw the movie probably around the age of between 10 and 12, I would guess. So it's I wouldn't recommend showing a 10 or 12-year-old this, but my dad let me watch this, and he loved the movie. He thought it was great. He was in that area during his service to the Army. When he was in the Army, they did... he was down around Texarkana area, so he naturally wanted to see it. He wanted to see the movie when it came out, which when it came out, I believe it was the day before my first birthday, actually, is the release date of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I think it was October 11th, 1974.
Really?
And I was born October 12th, 1973.
My wife's birthday is October 11th.
Oh, there you go. She was born on the
Texas
date.
Chainsaw release date. I can't wait to tell her that.
So it's... I don't want to put my cart before... Is that how it goes? The cart before the horse?
Right.
And let you know how I feel about this movie quite yet. I want to save that for the for the ending and how many hows I'm going to give it. But yeah, just I do watch it every year at least once, usually 2 or 3 times actually, and it's usually during the summertime. I would say it's, to me, this isn't really, it doesn't need to be a Halloween show, because it's the hot summer.
It's a summer movie, I think.
And I enjoy watching it then. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I was probably about that same age the first time I saw it. And it's definitely a movie that the older I got, the more I liked it. It wasn't something that grabbed me just because it's not as flashy and fun, exciting as something like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. So I definitely, the older I got, but by the time I was in my mid to late teens, this was like, I remember being in my late teens and having a stack of DVDs next to my TV that were like the every night when I go to bed movies, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre was one of those.
Oh, I knew I liked you, man. I knew I liked you.
Yeah, it's just a go-to. And I've just, well, we're not going to say what we think yet. It's a good, very good movie. We'll get into how good here in a little bit, but yeah, I just, something about it, man. I love the story, just the grittiness. It's just such a raw.
It is. It's such a really a simple story. It's not nothing complicated.
Right.
It's just the way it all came together, though, is just amazing. You almost feel like you want to go and get into a sauna or something, and get it out of your pores after you watch it, because it's evil. It is very, very evil and nasty.
Right.
You can almost smell it and taste it in the air, even when you're just watching it.
Right. And there's nothing supernatural about it.
Nothing at all.
To where, I mean, and that takes a little bit of it makes it more believable, because there's nothing in this that couldn't really happen. You could have a house full of psychos that are just cannibal. No, I mean, it's inspired by a true story of the story of Ed Gein, so very loosely inspired. But
I was digging up corpses and making furniture out of
bones.
I
mean, there's definitely influence, so take that loosely, the based on a true story thing. But I mean, it's just it's a nasty movie, man. It's gritty. Nasty. So yeah, I remember watching some of the sequels when I was young. At the time, there was only 3 I think they were through like the first 4 movies, and then of course I've seen all of the more recent ones. But as a franchise, it's like all of them, really. Like, they don't all hold up. Like that newest one on Netflix, the Legacy sequel, I didn't really care a whole lot for that. It was kind of goofy.
I know that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 isn't like a great movie in any way, but I have fun with it. I have an absolute hoot with it. I Dennis Hopper. I love it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Top.
Yeah, I like it.
So I had never seen part 2 until maybe a year ago. I knew of it, and I knew that it was a totally different tone than the first movie, but I had never really watched it. So I finally did, and after it was over, it was just like, huh. Okay then, because it's nothing like the first movie.
You got to go into it expecting that it's not gonna win no awards for sure.
Right. I think that's definitely a movie that I need to watch again, because now that I know what it is, I'll probably enjoy it a whole lot more, because going even knowing this is kind of a comedic spin, like, I was not prepared for that. But yeah, so it's I definitely grew up with Leatherface in my wheelhouse, and we're the better for it. All right. Well, now we will shift tracks and get into some behind the scenes and more about the cast and crew and a little bit of making of the movie stuff. So here we go.
Come closer. Let's take a look behind the curtain.
So, yep. directed by Tobe Hooper. So last time we talked about John Carpenter, and I said he was a Mount Rushmore of horror directors. Tobe Hooper is as well, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree.
He had done one movie before this, like an independent film called Eggshells. I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't either. I need to watch it though.
I don't think it's a horror movie. I really don't know anything other than the title.
Yeah, I do know one of these guys was in it. Let me see. I thought Alan Danziger, who played Jerry, was in Eggshells.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean that in itself is amazing that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is his second movie ever. Like,
and really his first big one.
Right. But he also did the TV movie of Salem's Lot, which is
very good.
Which is a solid vampire movie based on the Stephen King book. And Poltergeist is just as iconic as this movie in the horror landscape. I mean, produced by Steven Spielberg, and I know there's some controversy on how much Steven Spielberg stepped in, and maybe it should have been like a co-director split between them, but on paper, Tobe Hooper directed Poltergeist, so I'm going to roll with that.
Right, me too.
But then he stayed in a lot of horror stuff. The Fun House. He did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, like 10 years later, and
Next Generation.
Mm-hmm. So
Life Force.
Yeah, Life Force. I meant to bring that one up, and I forgot about it.
1985, I think.
Yep. And if you've seen Life Force, you remember that you saw Life Force.
And John Larroquette's the narrator at the beginning of that, too.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, sure is.
There's no doubt about it. Tobe Hooper is a legend. And so Marilyn Burns as Sally, as the main, I would say she's the main character, really. I mean, she's the longest survivor. But I keep flashing back to last time we talked about Jamie Lee Curtis being like the quintessential scream queen, and she is, but Marilyn Burns does a phenomenal job. Like, she is put through it in this movie, and she's so believable. Like, all the screams and just the agony that she's in, it's so authentic.
Yeah, she does a very good job. I mean, I've never seen a woman in distress before, I don't think, in my life. Not in real distress.
Not like that.
But my gosh, if I saw one, that's what I would think it would be.
Yeah, she absolutely nails it. Her frustration with Franklin is genuine, and I mean, she does an amazing job. Like,
she does, really. Like,
to where with Jamie Lee Curtis, there was some weird dialogue or whatever, just things that I picked at, like with her as start to finish, just blown away by her performance.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. He super menacing, does a great job. Similar as the other masked killers that are famous. A lot of different people have played them throughout the franchises, but he's the OG.
Yeah, and I did read that he went to a mental health facility and studied some young folks that had mental illnesses, and when after he was done, they asked some of the patients at that place, how did he do, and they said I believe him. I believe he should be a patient here.
Right. Yeah. He studied up to how to act and how to portray this character. Edwin Neal as the hitchhiker is unhinged as all hell. Oh my gosh, such a weirdo.
He is. I mean, that guy, he has to be that way in real life, you would think.
Yeah, you can't fake it that well.
Oh my gosh.
Good Lord. We'll get into it, but he is something else. Jim Seedow as the cook, he's just delightfully nuts. Like, man, he's there's no weak link in the cast to me. Like, everybody, whether they're in it for 5 minutes or the whole movie, everybody delivered.
Yeah, I agree. I would think if there was a weak link, I would think it was Jerry and Kirk, the two fellas, young men that were victims of the family. I'm not going to say what happens to them, but
not yet.
They weren't part of the family,
right?
So,
but even then, it's just they did adequate jobs.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
wasn't
it's not
awful.
anything outstanding, but they did. Right. I mean, met expectation.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a budget of $140,000. It originally started at $60,000, but they kept having to go to the production company and say we need more money, need more money, and eventually got up to $140,000. And then the box office made $30.9 million, and it was at the time the highest grossing independent film until Halloween actually broke that record.
Yep. And it reviewed well. I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, maybe it wasn't quite on the level of like The Exorcist where people were passing out in the theaters, but I mean, it was a hit for
and
sure.
Even some of the big time movie critics gave it high praises, and that helped a lot too, I believe.
Yep. Rotten Tomatoes has it at an 84% on the tomato meter, which is the critic review, and an 82% on the popcorn meter. So the people, so they were very. That's a tight. They're almost the same rating across the board. So, those are both lower than Halloween. I'll tell you what I think about that later.
We did. We also have the same as Halloween with John Carpenter doing the music and the score to that. Toby Hooper was also one of the main sound guys, along with a fella named Wayne Bell.
Right. And yeah, the sound work in this movie, because it's not traditional movie music, it's just noises and
it's eerie. It just adds to it. I think it does such a good job. It's just very, very eerie.
Yep, great use of sound effects in this movie, and just I mean, like the legacy of this. I wanted to make a point. This is a good place to talk about it, but I'm a video gamer, and they recently made a Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game where it's like it's a multiplayer game where you like 3 people play as killers from the family. They've added a couple characters just to give you more options, but you can be the hitchhiker or the cook or Leatherface, and then 4. There might be I think maybe 5 survivors. And they just put you on the map like you're on the farm, and you have to try to escape. Like you got to turn off the generators and get out of the fence.
Really?
While the other ones are running around trying to kill you, and it's pretty fun. So
You're gonna make me want to go out and buy a video game platform.
Ask Tyler; he'll tell you about it.
All right,
he can hook you up. But yeah, I mean, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the big 4, big 5, whatever you want. I'd put it in a big 4, I guess. Freddy, Jason, Michael, and Leatherface. But
I would as well.
Yep.
I think so.
All right. Well, also, the one other thing I was going to add was there is a really good documentary about the making of this movie called The Shocking Truth, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like retrospective. I watched it on YouTube. I think you said it was on Tubi also.
Pluto, I think.
Pluto, okay. But yeah, it's free to watch, and if you like this movie a lot and you want to get more, you just see more behind the scenes and cast interviews and stuff, it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, it is really good. It has a lot of cast and crew interviews. And I think it was 2004, I want to say, is when that was made. So a lot of the cast and crew that's passed away now was still alive at the time. So
right,
it's very good.
All right. Well, with that, we will pause once again and let you stop what you're doing and go watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you have not, I watched it on Peacock. It's streaming right now, but you should you can buy it. It's all over the place. There's lots of editions of it, so find a way to watch it, rent it, do what you got to do, and if you haven't seen it, then come back and we will get into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Come along now, if you're not too scared.
So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre opens with like a Star Wars style with some scrolling text and a voiceover, and it's really good. So I took the time to write down the entire thing to read it here.
You gotta read it
because you gotta read it.
Try to do your best.
My John Larroquette. Here we go. The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The event of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Hot damn, that was
That
good.
was pretty good.
Very good job.
I have headphones in and I could hear it and it's like, fuck, man, I'm nailing this.
Yeah, you are. You know, when he said that, Toby Hooper asked John Larroquette to do his best Orson Welles impersonation.
All right. This movie is how I learned to pronounce the word macabre because it's spelled macabre.
Oh, yeah, it is very weird.
There's a Stephen King book called Dance Macabre, and it's like a nonfiction about horror. And when I was a kid, my brother had the paperback, and I always said it was Dance Macabre. And then I saw Texas Chainsaw, and I learned how to say the word.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, John Larroquette does that voiceover, and it's eerie. It sets the stage, and then it cuts into like a black screen, and then you start getting the camera flashes of just like decomposing bodies.
There it is. That's it.
And it's eerie. You just see it goes black, and then it lights up, and you'll see like rotten teeth and finger bones, and it's just gross.
It looks real.
It does.
I would say it's probably not real, but
I hope it's not real.
Yeah, but it looks real.
Yep. And once you get through that, it zooms out to it, or it stays, and it zooms out on a corpse that's been dug up and posed on top of a tombstone, and it's holding another head in its hands.
It's wired up to the stone, and it's just weird.
Its legs are all bowed into like big triangles, and it's just weird looking. And then you get then the opening credits come after that, and you so after the credits, which is cool, like it's a black screen with it looks like a lava lamp, and you get just the Toby Hooper score behind it, just the clanking metal noises, and
it's weird.
It's just unsettling.
It is very unsettling. I don't see that in movies like that anymore.
No. And then once the credits are done, it opens up on a roadkill armadillo laying on its back in the sun, and the van drives by, which if you watch a documentary, you learn that is a real taxidermied armadillo that the art director found on the side of the road and learned how to do taxidermy to make that thing.
Yeah. They actually wanted a horse or a dog.
Yeah.
And there was a horse on the side of the road. They pulled up.
Yes.
And there was a dead horse, and they wanted to use it so bad. And they're like, no, we can't do it.
Right. The art in that documentary, the art director says it's because nobody would get close enough because of the smell.
Stink of it. And then they wanted the dog, and they said, no,
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No,
we've had enough dog killing with Halloween.
Yeah, we're not doing that again. So yeah, you see you got the armadillo in the foreground, and then you see a van driving by in the background, and that is our core cast. So we get introduced to them by they pull over to let Franklin out. So we see them setting up the ramps on the side of the van because Franklin is in a wheelchair, and they wheel him out to the side of the road because he's got to pee.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. Like they give him an old coffee can to pee in because he's in a chair. He can't just piss on himself because he can't stand up. And so he's sitting there trying to go, and you see a semi-truck come roaring by.
Yeah.
And the wind gust sends him rolling down the ditch line in his chair. And I have to say that my family members will understand this, and I've always said this, and I think they'll get it too. Franklin always reminded me of my cousin Eric. My cousin Eric passed away a long time ago, but he looked a lot like him. Like
really?
He looked like a... And I say this with love. He looked like an overgrown Cabbage Patch doll, but Franklin reminds me so much of my cousin Eric. So, and I think Eric would appreciate that I threw him into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre podcast. So that one's for you. So yeah, Eric, now I'm gonna start calling him Eric instead of Franklin. Franklin gets sent down the side of the hill, and so they run down and get him. So we go back to the van and meet the rest of the cast. So there is Sally Hardesty, who is Franklin's sister, her boyfriend Jerry, and then we have another couple, Kirk and Pam.
Yes.
And so we skipped. So during the credits, there's news reports playing. I forgot that part, and that's important. Talking about grave robbing in a Texas graveyard. So somebody's been digging up bodies and posing them and stealing body parts and weird stuff. So our cast here is on the way to the cemetery because their grandpa's buried. Well, Sally and Franklin's grandpa's buried there. So they want to make sure that his grave has not been disturbed and everything's cool there.
And I had to write down some of the stuff that was on that newscast that news anchor was talking about, because this is just some bad stuff going on. So we have he talks about the grave robbers, and they think it is an out-of-state group that's doing the grave robbing, so that would make sense to why they wouldn't investigate the house next door, which is
the local people,
the local people. So they think it's like jewel thieves digging up bodies. But anyways, you hear that in the newscast, but then you also hear there's a Texas oil refinery burning, and a couple of people died in that. And then there's a cholera epidemic in San Francisco where people are dying in that. There's a Houston suicide. I can't remember why, but it does explain in the newscast why that happened. There's a 16-story building in Atlanta collapsed and killed like 20 people. And then there's the Gary, Indiana murder they talk about a little bit. So, I mean, this is a grim news report.
I missed all of that because I was watching the lava lamp and listening to the metal clanks, and I missed it.
And there was a couple more that I didn't get to write down. But, yeah, it was a very bleak time.
Right. Things are not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get to the cemetery, and there's a bunch of people there because of what's been going on, so they get escorted to the one of the volunteers there takes Sally to go find her grandpa's grave and make sure it's all right. And there's a little scene where they open the side of the van door, or Franklin opens the van door, and he's sitting on the edge, and there's an old drunk man laying there, and he just like flops back on the grass, and he's just it's a weird, like, so much in this movie is unsettling, and that's just another example of just like making you feel uncomfortable, because this guy, he's probably harmless, but
he's drinking a beer, about ready to pass out. He's sitting in an old tire, actually, if you notice.
I missed that. Yeah, and he's let's see. Oh, and his one line is like, "You laugh at an old man talking."
Yeah, he sees things.
Right,
I see things.
Right. And that's all we get there. So after that, they're back in the van, and they're going to their grandpa's old cabin.
The old Franklin house, which I guess Franklin is named after probably his grandma's
side. It's like
side.
their surname. Yeah. So they're going to go, and it's just like an afternoon. They went and checked on the graves. They're going to go visit their grandpa's old house.
Yeah. And you do find out that their grandfather's grave is okay. It was not robbed.
Right. And while they're en route to go there, they see a hitchhiker on the side of the road, and they're like, "Pick him up!"
Yeah.
No, apparently this is different in the 70s, because now, like, I wouldn't pick up anybody.
Yeah, they say he's going to asphyxiate out there. It's hot.
Yeah. And well, even the Pam, the one girl, is like, "Oh, he looks weird."
Yeah, she does.
They should have listened to Pam.
Right.
But they pull over and let this guy in the car.
And this is Edwin Neal. The actor's name is Edwin Neal, and I'm telling you, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, he is weird as all hell.
Oh my gosh.
Well, actually, so I jumped ahead again, but on the way there, because I think it's funny, they drive by the old slaughterhouse right before they get to the hitchhiker, and Franklin's all excited talking about it because their grandpa worked there. And he's like, "That's the old slaughterhouse where Granddad used to work." And he goes into explaining how they do it, how they bring the cows in and bash them with a sledgehammer to kill them.
Yeah.
But then they get this new bolt gun, and it cracks me up every time because he's explaining how they do it. It's like they take his bolt gun and they put it on their head and they shoot them. It's like boom, psh, boom, psh, boom, psh. And he does it like exactly 5 times,
and he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, he loves telling the story. But anyway, so they pick up the hitchhiker, and Franklin asks him if he worked at that place, and he's like, "No, but my grandpa and my brother do," or whatever. And he pulls out of he's got a little satchel thing around his neck and little pouch, and he pulls out some pictures he's got of like mutilated cattle or butchered cattle, and he goes on about how the new way with the bolt gun is no good and puts people out of jobs because he used to be the killer. He used to be the sledgehammer guy. So now he doesn't have a job because of the bolt guns.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like the guy, he's got a big red, I don't know if it's supposed to be a birthmark or just
I take it as supposed to be a birthmark.
Like just a big red streak on his face, and he's just real skinny and scraggly.
Looks like he hasn't showered in weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not the guy you would pick up on the side of the road at
I would
all.
never think about picking this guy up.
So, and he sees Franklin has like a nervous tick thing where he plays with his pocket knife, and he'll like pick at his fingernails with it, and he sees him doing that, and he gets all excited, and he grabs the knife out of his hand, and then he takes it and just like cuts the shit out of his hand, like the palm of his hand.
His own hand.
Right. Everybody's freaking out, and then he just stopped. Like the dude's a nutbag, and then he's got his camera, and he takes a picture of Franklin, and then it prints out. It's like a Polaroid thing, and it prints out, and he lets it develop, and then he shows it to Franklin, and he's like, "This is or Franklin's like, it didn't turn out very good."
You don't get to see the picture, but apparently it's not very good.
Yeah. And the hitchhiker's like, "It's a good picture. It's a good picture. Like, you can pay me now."
Yeah.
And though he wants $2 for that picture he just took, and they was like, "No, man, we're not going to do that." And they ask him. Well, he asked him if they can take him to his house, and his brother will cook him some head cheese, and just like everybody in the van's trying to get rid of this dude. Like they know they've made a mistake by picking him up, and he tells them that he's close, and when they won't buy the picture that he took, he pulls out this fire making kit he's got in his pouch,
aluminum foil,
and then he's got some
gunpowder
is what it must be, and he lights the picture on fire, and it starts smoking or flaming up real high, and everybody's freaking out, and
they all scream.
He pulls a switchblade, like a shaving knife almost, out of his boot, and he grabs Franklin's arm and slices his arm open, and everybody's screaming, it's chaos, and they pull over and make him get out, and he's running along the side of the van, and he's like rubbing his own bloody hand from where he cut it before, and like drawing on the side of the van and blowing raspberries at him.
He's a freak. Man.
He's nuts. Freak. Yeah. So yeah, they've finally gotten away from this guy, and they leave him on the road.
And they talk about it a little bit, and they all agree that this guy... Because
Franklin is... Granted, he got cut on the arm, but he's being a baby. He's just like...
he is a big whiny baby.
That's Franklin's thing through this whole movie. Like, he is a whiny dude.
Yeah. And I did read that he stayed in character even on breaks, and nobody liked him.
Yeah.
Everybody was having drinks, on breaks, and he stayed in character, so they was like... Get away from me. So they would take separate breaks and stuff, and it thought worked. He was an asshole.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, it made it easier for them to act like they were annoyed with this guy all the time. All right. So after that it's done, then they pull off at a gas station because they're almost out of gas. And I think it's funny. There's a funny part here. There's like an old dude. He's like the windshield wiper guy. There's this old guy sitting there just staring at the sun, basically. And they pull up, and he wheels his little cart over there and starts washing their windshield. And the gas station owner comes out and is like, "We ain't got any gas. The tanker's not here yet, so they can't get gas here." But the funny part, I think it's funny, he tells them they don't have any gas, and it'll be there like later in the afternoon. So he goes to walk back in the store, and then the windshield washer guy walks with him, but then Franklin yells and asks him if he knows where the old Franklin house is, and the guy stops and comes back, so the little guy comes back with his bucket and starts wiping the windshield again. It's like he has to keep doing it as long as they're there. Yeah. But the gas station guy tells him like he might know of the place they're talking about, but they shouldn't be messing around on other people's property. He explains that it's his family's property, and it's like, all right, well, be careful up there or whatever. And
Yeah,
and
he really don't want him to go.
Right.
He says,
He's trying to
I
discourage
make ribs. Yeah, and in this, I'm confused.
All right.
At this point, I'm confused. Does he want him to stay there so that he can get his family there and kill him? Or does he not want him to go so they're not sniffing around in their business?
I think it's probably more that, because
that's what I thought it was.
I mean, we're spoiling ahead a little bit, but the house they're going to is not far from the house where
walking to, yeah,
right.
It's
I mean,
walking
they
distance.
walk there, so I think it's probably that to probably keep them away so they're not snooping around their business.
So in that way, I think that this family really isn't trying to kill him. They don't
Not yet,
They don't want to.
Yeah,
They're trying to get him away out of the business. And like you said, we are jumping ahead a little bit with
right.
that.
But so they hang out for a little bit at the gas. They get out and they see the mark on the side of the van that the hitchhiker drew in his blood, and it's got Franklin all weirded out. He's like, he's really concerned about the whole thing. But they leave and they have enough gas to make it the rest of the way, because it turns out they're not far from their grandpa's house. So they go the rest of the way and they find the old abandoned house, and they're all excited and going, except for Franklin, who's he's in a wheelchair, so he's limited mobility, and the two couple, he's the fifth wheel in this group, and that's not a pun because he has wheels. But he sorry, cracked ourselves up. So he's still like outside or in the ground floor, and the rest of them have gone upstairs, and he's listening to him having a good time and laughing and shouting, hooting and hollering up there, and he does some hooting and hollering of his own.
He has a major meltdown down there.
He has a hissy fit.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the biggest temper tantrums you've ever seen. It's funny.
If you didn't already know that he was a baby, he's just a big overgrown baby, that scene lets you know for sure. Because he's just going off to nobody. And man, what's he say? He's like, you should come, Franklin. It's gonna be a fun trip. And he does the same thing the hitchhiker. Blowing raspberries.
Yeah, he's looking up stairs where the fun noises are coming from, and blowing raspberries at it because he can't get up there to have that fun.
If I have any more fun, I ain't gonna be able to take it.
You sound just like him.
I know. I listen to my cousin Eric all the time. So Pam and Kirk come down, and apparently they had talked about there used to be a pond behind the house somewhere not too far, and they want to go swimming. So Franklin tells them how to get there. There's like an old trail that'll take them back there. So they go and discover that the pond is completely dried up, and there's just a dirt hole back there.
It's like a ravine, and it's totally empty.
Right. There will be no swimming. But while they're there, they catch sight of like a roof peak up in the distance, and they can hear something running, like a motor. And they need gas, so Kirk decides, kind of against Pam's best intentions or best wishes or whatever, he's going to go up there and ask if they can borrow some gas. So they're walking up, and he's got a plan, and he's going to leave his guitar as like collateral. And he'll come back and get his guitar and give him some money for the gas and bring him more gas back. And they get up there and they find a generator running, so they know they've got gas here, so they're running a generator. They don't see any people though, so they go around, make it their way to the front of the house, and Pam sits down on a porch swing out in the yard, and Kirk goes up and knocks on the door, and nobody's answering. He yells for Pam to come over there, so the camera conveniently follows her right below butt level all the way to the porch. But they go up there, and he's knocking, and there's a little, just a teaser that something's weird about this place, because when he's standing there knocking, he kicks something on the porch, and it's a tooth, like a human tooth is what it looks like. And he picks it up and hands it to Pam, and she gets all frustrated. Or no, I've mixed up when she goes. She goes with him to the door, but then after he shows her the tooth, she goes to that porch swing. So he starts knocking, and then he like knocks harder, and the door just opens. It swings open. So he's yelling, asking if anybody's home, and goes inside, and he starts through this little hall by the stairs, and you can see through it. There's a room with like cattle skulls and stuff all over the wall.
Really weird.
Strange decor.
Yeah.
And right when he gets to that doorway, we are introduced for the first time to Leatherface.
Unbelievable
just this
scene.
big hulking dude with a mask, wearing an apron. It fills the whole doorway, and just one shot hammers like a sledgehammer and hits Kirk right in the head and drops him. And he starts seizuring and convulsing and flopping around, and the Leatherface picks him up and pulls him out of the doorway and throws him and slams that door. It's like a metal door on a track, and it's just boom.
It's one of the most iconic kill scenes in any horror movie, in my opinion. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so, like, they linger on the closed door, and it's reverberating. It's just like that humming sound. It just gets under your skin. It's so good.
Yeah, and he does a great job of dying. Like, people think when you're killed, like, you just fall over dead and you lay there. But, I mean, like you said, he does the convulsing. And if you've ever seen an animal die or something, they don't just lay over and die. They kick, they fight, they can do anything they can do to get out of the situation.
Yep.
And it's very, very eerie. So he does a really, really good job. And that was William Vale, the actor's name that plays Kirk.
Yep. So Pam, who is still outside on the porch, or not the porch swing, like the swing in the yard, she hears like the door slam or something. So she's yelling for Kirk. So she starts going inside or going up to the door, calling for him. And she goes in, and that metal door is closed, and she didn't see the inside, so she doesn't know where he went exactly. So she's looking around, calling for Kirk. And she goes into this room and like trips and falls into this room that is just madness. It's there's bones and feathers everywhere. There's a live chicken in a little bird cage that can barely move inside, hanging there just clucking the whole time. So if it wasn't unnerving enough, there's the whole time she's in there.
Feathers in the room.
Yeah. There's like a couch that's like made. It's basically like a statue couch built out of bones, and it's the most disgusting house you could ever see. Macabre as can be. Macabre. Yeah, I mean, and you get probably a solid minute of her trying to take this in, and just the horror of her trying to understand what she's seeing.
Yeah,
right
she's
now.
freaking out, but she's still on all fours on the ground because she tripped and fell. But it's just, you get the good view. The camera goes all the way around the room, and you get to see all the weird stuff. There's things hanging off the ceiling, like you mentioned. There's skulls and
and it's a mix of like there's stuff that's clearly animal bones, but then there's clearly human bones too.
And I did hear that they went to a veterinarian's and got all these bones and stuff, so they actually are real animal bones.
Yep. So when she finally gets her wits together enough to get up and run, she gets up, scrambles up, and gets out of the room, and she is back in that main hallway going towards the front door, and then that metal door slams open, and Leatherface is there, and she sees this big guy. So she's screaming and running to the door, and he's chasing after her and catches her right at the front door. Like, the screen door flings open, and he catches her by the waist and pulls her back in the house. And you get, within 3 minutes of the previous kill, you get another one here where he carries her back into that room. So now we see what's inside if you go past that metal door, and it's like a butcher shop, basically, like a little kitchen butcher place.
Got meat hooks hanging,
and he hangs her up on a meat hook. And it's brutal. Like, you don't actually see anything.
No, you don't.
And that's what
anything.
This movie does so well, is it's so violent, but it shows so little. And you can just feel it. Just talking about it now, I can feel it in my back.
I can too.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's so bad. And it doesn't kill her, so she's still hanging there.
She's reaching up,
trying to pull herself off. And
to no avail. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And Kirk is laying on like the work table in front of her, and Leatherface grabs his chainsaw off the counter and fires that dude up and starts cutting his head off, which you don't see. Like, you can see from the angle, like, that must be what he's doing. But you don't actually see any of it. So she's hanging there impaled on a meat hook, watching her boyfriend get his head chopped off with a chainsaw. It's just awful. Like it's so rough to watch.
It is. It's disturbing.
Right.
It is.
And her screams sound so authentic.
It does.
Man, it's just,
she does such a good job.
Puts you on edge. And on that documentary, they talked about how that stunt worked to hang her there. Like
with the pantyhose.
Yeah, like they had stuffed her underwear with like maxi pads to give her extra support. And they could only hang her for like a minute or two before it got too painful and they'd have to take her down. So I mean, none of this was comfortable. Like just what they were doing, they were going through it. And I mean, we didn't talk about it too much, but I mean, they filmed in Texas and it's 100 plus degrees every day. And so it's just a miserable filming condition.
Yeah. No air conditioning. It's bad.
Yeah. So and I made a note too, like while this is happening and Leatherface is cutting her head off, it cuts away and you see like the sun setting behind the windmill. And you can hear her screaming and you can hear the chainsaw revving in the distance. And it's like, damn.
Yeah, there's some bad stuff going on in there.
Yeah. So we cut back to Grandpa's house where Jerry and Sally and Franklin are out by the van and they're wondering why Kirk and Pam haven't come back yet. So Jerry decides he's going to go look for them. And Sally wants to go with him, but he tells her she better stay, so she's pissy about that. And we get Jerry following the path to the pond because he doesn't know the pond's not there. But he does the same thing they do. He gets there,
sees the farmhouse,
sees the farm, hears the generator, so he goes on to investigate. Jerry finds the house. He goes in. Well, he goes up to the door and knocks.
And then he sees Kirk's jacket on
Is it his jacket or was it the towel they took?
Oh, I think it was the towel.
They took a towel because they were going to swim, and then the towel's hanging on the banister of the porch.
That's what it was.
Yep. So he sees that, so he knows they must have been here, so he ramps up his efforts to get inside, and I think he just opens the door and goes in, and again, it's kind of like when Pam went in, nothing's happening right away, and he goes in and starts looking around, and he can hear like noises like
banging
and like whining and stuff, and then he makes his way back through that room to where the meat hooks are, and Pam is no longer on the meat hook, and Kirk's body's not there in it, so he's not immediately alarmed, but there's a banging coming from inside one of the deep chest freezers that are in there. So he goes and opens it, and Pam's body is inside, and then she like springs to life and starts flopping around like a fish in there. And he spins around, doesn't know what to do, and then Leatherface comes barging into the room like just out of nowhere and smacks him right in the head with a hammer. And that's in that documentary too. They didn't tell that guy when. Like, I don't even know that he had seen Leatherface in his getup.
They hadn't. I don't even think they introduced him to Gunnar Hansen.
Right.
He said, "I didn't want these people to see me. I didn't want them to know me that way." And the what you see in that actor, it actually scared him.
Yeah, because he screams and it's legit. Like Gunnar Hansen scared the piss out of that dude. So it's another very genuine moment. And so he hammers him and kills him, and then. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movies because it's just so well acted with no dialogue, but he kills Jerry, and then so now it's just Leatherface, and he's just like storming around the house, like opens the blinds, looks out, like without saying anything, you can tell like he's like, where the fuck are all these people coming from? Because like this is not normal. And he's so upset, and he's just holding his head in his hands like he's scared to death, and in a weird way, you almost feel sorry for him because he's kind of a sympathetic character, even though he's a savage killer. Yeah, but he's so confused and he doesn't understand what's going on. So that scene really sticks out to me.
It does. It was a very good scene. I think, and it was maybe 40 seconds long, where you just see him walking back and forth.
Yeah, he's
beside himself.
Right,
and he don't want to kill these people. He's got a mental illness. This dude's crazy, and he just. He thinks he's forced to kill him.
Right. I mean, what else is he going to do? So from there, we go back to Sally and Franklin at the van, and it's nighttime now. So they are really nervous because Jerry didn't come back. Kirk and Pam haven't come back, so they don't know what's going on. And they're honking the horn and yelling, trying to get somebody. Maybe they're lost in the woods and couldn't find their way back, so they're screaming. Franklin's really good at screaming.
Franklin wants to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Franklin wants to go to the gas station?
Yeah, Franklin keeps telling Sally, like, we should go to that gas station. And she's like, I'm not leaving without him. And so they go, and then Franklin panics because he realizes that they don't have the keys to the van, so they can't go anyway.
Right.
So Franklin and Sally kind of get in a tussle because Franklin's got the flashlight, and Sally wants to go look, and he won't give her the flashlight. And finally, she's like, I'll go without it. And then Franklin's like, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
And she's got to push him
Right.
through the woods.
Yes, yeah, in his wheelchair through. So it's just a rough situation, but so she's trying to push him through the woods on the path that they know they went, and they're yelling all the time, Jerry.
Yeah.
And it's the sad end of Franklin. Like they're rolling into, and he's like, wait a second, I hear something. Stop, Sally, stop. And then the chainsaw revs, and here he comes.
Scare too.
And here he comes out of the trees and just chainsaws Franklin right in the gut. And Sally's standing there screaming, and he's just sawing her brother up right in his wheelchair.
Oh man!
And that kicks off a kind of long, like cat and mouse thing where Sally's running from Leatherface in the woods, and she's getting tangled up and cut open by the brushes, which was legit.
Yeah, she really got it. Was her blood in that movie.
Yeah, and she ends up finding the house where Leatherface lives, and she runs inside and shuts the door, and then she runs up. Or Leatherface starts cutting through the door with the chainsaw, so she runs upstairs and she sees somebody up there, so she dives onto that guy. There's an old man in a rocking chair, but he's dead, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like a corpse.
Yeah. And and then she turns around and there's another rocking chair with an old lady who is clearly dead, like a pretty much decomposed corpse sitting there.
Probably dead for a year, I would say.
Right. Yeah, she's not freshly dead. And so she runs back out, and Leatherface has gotten in the house, so she just straight jumps out of a second floor window, just blows right through the glass and dives down to the ground level.
Which was the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only way she was getting out.
And Leatherface isn't going to jump, so he has to go back down the stairs to to resume the chase.
Right, and so
she gets a good jump.
Well, she does, but then she's kind of just dazed, I guess, and hanging out, and she doesn't take off again until Leatherface runs out of the house. Like, you had a good 10 seconds, but you blew it. So then we're back to the chase, and she's running through the woods again, and eventually she finds another building, and it turns out to be the gas station from before.
Back to the gas station with the... Right,
she runs, and she finally finds an unlocked door, and the guy from earlier that runs the gas station is in there, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And so he sits her down, tries to calm her down, and tells her everything's all right. He looks outside and tells her there's nobody out there. And she tells him that they need to call the police, but they don't have a phone. So he's gonna have to drive her to the next town so they can call the police. So he tells her he's gonna go get the truck. So he leaves her for a little bit, and you're waiting because he leaves the door open. So you're waiting for Leatherface to come busting in there because the door's wide open, but he never does. Then the truck backs up to the door, and he comes in, and he's got this weird grin on his face, and he's got this burlap sack and
some rope,
and she's immediately knows something's off here. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh no, you don't need to worry about anything." And she grabs a knife to defend herself, and he grabs a broom and smacks the broom out of her hand and starts whacking her with his broom until he beats her down basically enough to contain her, and he eventually knocks her out, I think, and then he rolls her over.
She goes out.
Yeah, and he rolls her over and hog ties her and puts the bag over her and then hauls her to the truck. So this guy's a nut job too.
Yeah, and I did another thing off that documentary was that he was not, the actor wasn't hitting her very hard, and Toby Hooper said, this isn't going to do. You need to really hit her. Really hit her. So he hit a little harder, and he said, nope, not good enough. You need to hit her hard. So he started, and then she, Marilyn Burns, the actress that plays Sally Hardesty, says, just do it. Just hit me as hard as you can, and let's get. She was tired of doing that scene, so he really laid into her. So it looks really real because it is real.
Yeah, because that was like take 30, and he was lighting her ass up with that broom.
They wanted to get out of that scene. They were tired of doing it.
So he's got her loaded in the truck, and he's driving away. And this scene is just, it's so hard to watch.
It is.
It really shows you how crazy this guy is, because he's like instantly flashing back and forth between like sympathetic and then just psychopath, because he'll be like, it's like, everything's gonna be all right, you got nothing to worry about, and then he grins and starts jabbing her with the broomstick again, and like he's like, oh, there's no need for that, when she starts crying, and then he jabs her again, and it's just this weird scene.
It is. I mean, if somebody was abducted, this is the way I would expect it to happen.
Yeah.
It's so realistic. This is what it makes you want to lock your wife and daughter up so they never go out, because you don't want them to have to go through this shit, because it seems very, very realistic.
It does. So we follow him. He's driving, and it's revealed that like the house where Leatherface was, where all this went down, that's where he's going. So this is his house too. And when he's driving up the road, we see the hitchhiker guy from earlier running up, bouncing around on the road. He's got a dead squirrel that he caught and killed, and he's holding it up to show him. And
what's he call him? A nappy headed or
I wrote it down. He called him he calls him a nap haired idiot.
Nap haired idiot.
Which at this point we find out, because he gets on him for the cemetery, so we find out that he's the one that was grave robbing, because he tells him, I told you to stay away from that graveyard. He's like, I didn't see me. They didn't see me. So we find out that the hitchhiker's the one that was doing that stuff. I had a note here too that I missed, that's funny, when at the gas station, when he gets her in the truck, he gets in the truck to leave, and then he sees that he left the door open and the lights on, and he jumps back up. He runs back in there and turns the lights off and shuts the door, and he comes back, and he's like, because I put this quote down too, he says something, he says, cost of electricity is enough to drive a man out of business. So he's kidnapped the girl and put her in his truck, and then he's like, oh shit, I forgot to turn the lights off.
He's worried about his electric bill.
Yep. It's just craziness. So they go, the hitchhiker and the old man, the cook, go on up to the house, and he has the hitchhiker get the girl out of the truck and bring her inside, and they get up to the door, and they see it's all sawed all to pieces, because from earlier when Leatherface was trying to get in. and the cook, I put this down because it's funny every time, he says, look what your brother did to the door.
He already cut the door up with a chainsaw.
Right, because when Sally was hiding in there. So they go in, and it reveals this family dynamic, that the cook and Leatherface and the hitchhiker are a family. Like he's their dad, and Leatherface and the hitchhiker are brothers, I guess.
Yeah, it's so messed up.
Yeah, and Leatherface is running around, and he never really talks in the movie at all. He just whimpers and makes noises. And
actually, I did hear that Toby, he actually said words in it in the filming of it, and Toby Hooper said, "No, you're making too much sense. I could understand what you said. Redo it, but say the same thing, but without saying it."
Right.
So they wanted him really, really mentally ill.
Right. And that's what, and it acts out really well, because there's a scene where the cook, the old man, and Leatherface are in the kitchen together, and he's like, did any of them get away? And he's like, and the cook understands him. It's like they have this, like, he knows what he's saying, even though he's not saying anything. And so the hitchhiker he ties Sally to a chair, and then he pulls the bag off her head. And when she sees him, she sees the hitchhiker, like the look in her eyes is just so good. Like, she does such an amazing job.
And what's he say? He said, "I thought you was in a hurry."
Yes.
Yeah, when they threw him out of the van, that's what they kind of said. "We're in a hurry. Yeah. Sorry."
Yeah, and it's, I mean, her fear in this, the whole final act is just unbelievable.
Brutal. There's nothing I can say that's going to do it justice. You just have to watch this movie.
Yes.
I wouldn't let your kids to watch it. It's just watch this movie. You're going to be blown away how realistic this feels. It feels almost like you're watching real life stuff happen.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there is no phoned in performance in this at all. So the cook tells him to go get Grandpa, who was upstairs. So that's the old dead guy we saw upstairs earlier. So, and it's just little stuff like this that really just set this movie apart to me, because the hitchhiker goes up to get him, and then he gets to the landing, and he's like, Leather, come help me with Grandpa.
Yeah.
So Leatherface goes up the stairs, and then they work together to carry him down the stairs in his rocking chair, like real slow so they don't drop him.
Yeah.
And they bring Grandpa down and sit him next to Sally, and I think the hitchhiker takes her hand and cuts her finger, and she's bleeding, and they put the finger in Grandpa's mouth, and he starts sucking the blood on her.
So now you find out this dude is not a
dead.
corpse.
He's not dead.
Alive.
And it's so weird because he starts doing this little jig in his chair, like he's kicking his legs and his arms. It's
he's
like,
loving
what the fuck am I watching here?
Yeah.
And she blacks out at this point, and I don't blame her.
I don't either.
When she wakes up, she is at the dinner table. So it is the dinner table scene. And it's just absolute, like, I was texting Rich at one point because we were talking about the movie, and it's like, this whole dinner scene is absolute chaos.
It is the screaming that Sally's doing. And,
right. And they're mocking her, so everyone's screaming, and the hitchhikers making fun of her.
They think it's the funniest thing to watch her scream, but she is screaming for her life. She's crying, screaming, trying to break away. The chair, did you notice the chair really has two arms on it? It's got to be Kirk or Jerry's arms, because they're the fresh kills, but these are fresh forearms from the elbow to the fingers that make up the handrails of this chair. And she's tied to it. Mm-hmm. It's just disturbing.
It's crazy. And I mean, it's almost weird to watch, like, because it's kind of a long scene, sort of, but it's just noise mostly, like just screaming and noise, and it's unnerving
pure chaos.
To watch. Yeah,
it's just. But
in the end, they are gonna do like they do with the cattle at the slaughterhouse, and they're gonna bash her brains out and put her down, because we've established kind of through this, they're cannibals. They will eat people. So they're going to...
And there was a family fight there for a little bit. Cause
they do get into
Hitchhiker says he's just a cook.
Right.
And then he gets mad.
Like,
and
me and him do all the dirty work. Do all the hard work.
He just cooks. And then they get mad at each other.
Right.
It's pretty good.
Just this family dynamic, the squabbles and stuff they have is weird. It's genuine. It's
and the whole time she's just screaming. She's not listening to none of this nonsense.
But they decide they're going to kill her and hit her with the sledgehammer, but they're going to let Grandpa do it because Grandpa is the best.
Yeah.
And the cook, it's another thing. Like, the cook is talking to her like she's not just lost her mind about to die, about Grandpa being so good. And he's like, he once killed, well, I don't remember the number now, like 60 cows in 5 minutes or something. They said it could have done even more if the hook crew could have pulled him out faster. And it's, I mean, he's so proud of it. And so they get her on her knees, and they got her head over a bucket, and Leather's hitchhiker's holding her over the bucket, and Leather's got the hammer in Grandpa's hand, and he's like trying to help him smack her with it, and he just keeps dropping it. Because he's
just a frail old man.
He's very barely alive. And he does finally hit her once decent, and you see like a blood, one of the few times you see blood in this movie at all. Right. And then the hitchhiker gets frustrated, and he's like, let me do it. And he lets her go to try to get the hammer, and she gets up and runs and jumps out the front window again on the first floor this time.
She gets away.
And it's daylight out. It's morning.
And I get a real sense of relief in myself when she gets away. Mm-hmm. I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God that's over. Yeah. It was awful to watch.
It's such a hard scene to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets out and she's running. They come after, Leatherface and the hitchhiker come after her. You hear him. He's got his chainsaw fired up, and the hitchhiker's right behind her, slashing her in the back with his knife, and her back of her shirt's cut open, so he's just hitting flesh with it. And they get out to the road, and a semi-truck comes rolling through, and runs over the hitchhiker and just
that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, if I haven't picked at anything in this movie, but that scene's a little funny because, like, it's all you remember in Austin Powers, one of those when the dude gets run over by the ice roller thing, but he's like 40 feet away and he's just no the whole time. It's like there's too long of a section of the hitchhiker standing there like and then it runs over him, but so he's dead now. He's run over.
Yeah, he gets hit with about 6 out of the 18 tires.
Yes,
absolutely runs
cleanly
him over.
hit. And then, but Leather is still there. So the hitchhiker or the semi driver who just hit the dude pulls over, and he gets out of the truck, and Sally's running up to him, and then Leatherface runs around the back of the truck, and the dude sees, like, takes one look at him, just turns around and runs back to his truck. But he does pull Sally in and pushes her out the other side, and they crawl across the cabin, get out the other side. He shuts the door, and Leather's trying to chainsaw the door. But he grabs a big pipe wrench out of the floorboard when he gets out the other side, and they're running, and he stops, and from like 6 feet away, just swings this pipe wrench at
and
Leather's
it's a big
head.
pipe wrench.
And clocks him right in the head, and he falls down, and the chainsaw falls right on his thigh. And you see it cut into him a little bit, and you actually hear him yell, which on the documentary, that was a legit yell from Gunnar Hansen because they had something in there. Obviously, he didn't cut his leg, but they had something in there, but the heat from the chain rubbing on it burnt his leg. And like the yell, like the scream in pain is real pain because it burnt the shit out of his leg.
Yeah. Wow.
But and at the same time, a pickup truck drives by. The semi truck driver just runs away, and then Sally jumps in the back of the pickup, and you get the ending of her just hysterically laughing, like she has lost her mind, and you can't blame her for that.
Right. Blood all over.
Right, just covered in blood. Everyone she's with is
it.
dead, and she's getting away in this pickup truck, and Leatherface is standing in the road, and he's frustrated that she got away, and he's just swinging his chainsaw around, and that's the end of the movie, like, and that's it, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like, what a movie.
Yeah, and that is it. And I also saw in that documentary that Gunnar Hansen, when he was slinging that chainsaw around in the air, that was real. He was so glad that he was done with this movie that he was getting his frustrations out. That was the last scene, and he was just like, I'm done. And they kept the cameras rolling. They're like, yes, we got it.
Right. Like because they had done it before, and his direction was you're frustrated. So he had like filmed a version where he was like stomping the road and stuff, and he's like, this looks stupid. And then he pulled off the swinging around the chainsaw thing, and it works amazing. So, man, that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and damn, that is a movie.
And it's pretty cool because it's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but only one person got killed by a chainsaw.
That's true, Franklin.
Yeah, the one guy got cut up, but he was already dead.
Yes,
so Franklin was the only.
It should have been the Texas Sledgehammer Massacre because more people went out that way. So yeah, I mean, it's just a wild movie. It is raw and gritty, and
it is just. I don't know. They could film this 100 more times, I think, and that would be the best one.
Yeah,
you can't top that.
I mean, they did a remake in the early 2000s, and I liked it. But I mean, this is just a class of its own. Like there's nothing like this.
Yeah,
it's just so like primitive filmmaking. Everything it looks real. And there's not. Except for the hitchhiker getting run over. Everything else looks really good.
And a lot of it, like they said, was real. They was filming in 120-degree heat. It was just...
The scene at the dinner table, the smell was awful because they had real meat in there, and it was just rotting in the heat. So, like, people were crew people were running outside to puke because the smell was so bad in there.
And they said Gunnar Hansen stank to high heaven. Yeah. He never washed his clothes, and for 4 weeks, and that's how long it took to shoot, 4 weeks.
Yeah,
so.
I think all of the cast only had one of the outfit they were wearing because Marilyn Burns talked about in the documentary that she was so glad to throw away those white pants
Yeah.
that would stand up in the corner.
Yeah. And they were the cast and crew was throwing up, and it was just brutal. And the way that Tobe Hooper directed this was unbelievable. All the way from not introducing him to Gunnar Hansen, with or without his costume on. I think that you get the surprise in the actor's face during the scene, and it's true surprise. I mean, it's just it's bad. And we get two different masks. We didn't talk about the pretty lady mask one because Leatherface starts with and it is human face.
Yeah, if you don't know that, his Leatherface mask is human skin from victims that he's fashioned into a mask.
Yeah, so at dinner time, the scene jumps and he's got a different face on, and they call it the pretty lady. He actually there's makeup on it. I mean, not very well, but he wants to look decent,
presentable for dinner,
and it's just all the stuff that Tobe Hooper did with this was just, in my opinion, one of the great directing jobs I think there ever could have been.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. We'll transition to our reviews now, but I bet you can guess what they are. So let's get into our final review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Now that we've seen what there is to see, how many never not horror howls will be given?
All right, Rich, since this was your pick, I will give you the honors of what is your review and how many never not horror howls do you give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Okay, so I want to start out saying that this movie is very, very special to me. I think one of the main reasons is my dad showed it to me, and when I watch it, it sounds kind of weird, but I think of my dad when I see it, and it reminds me of my dad. I find it so disturbing. It's like an animal hit on the road. You just can't look away. You got to keep watching. The acting's superb. Edwin Neal as the hitchhiker, Marilyn Burns as Sally, Paul Pertain as Franklin, and Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. They really, really stick out to me. I think they do such a good job. And relatively new actors to have Tobe Hooper get this out of these people, I think just makes it the directing job just so good. The music and sounds of it, they really don't use a lot of traditional instruments, a lot of kids' toys and different things they find to make these sounds, and I think it makes it that much more scary and eerie and even disgusting. And a very simple story and they made it into a disturbing and actually a horrifying movie. And with me being in action figures, this NECA, a company that makes action figures, they made a Leatherface action figure, and that's actually what got me into action figure collecting. My very first action figure that I bought as a collector was NECA's Leatherface action figure.
Nice.
So, and I think the more and more I watch it, the more I appreciate it as an all-time classic. It was a classic before I've been watching it here recently to study up for this podcast. It was always one of my favorites, but I really, really appreciate the direction from Tobe Hooper and these actors that do such a good job. So how many never not horror howls do I give it? I have to do it. I have to give it a 5. I absolutely have to give it a 5. And I gave Dracula, 1931 Dracula, a 5 as well. I would put this a little bit higher, so I would go maybe a 5.1 just to get it up over that Dracula.
The A++.
But, yeah, it's to me, I guess I go ahead and say it is my all-time favorite horror movie. Not by far.
Right.
There's close seconds and thirds, but to me, my favorite all-time horror movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I like it. All right. How many Never Not Horror howls do I give the Texas Chainsaw Masterpiece? It's a 5.
Yes.
Yeah. No question. I love this movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's not my absolute all-time favorite. We haven't done that movie yet, but we will.
Yeah.
Rest assured. But it's perfect. Like, and watching it again recently, a couple times I watched it in prep for this episode and being more critical and really paying more attention, it's just amazing. Like, everything is so good. The acting is believable. It's so gritty and nasty, and to do what they did to make this movie be as scary and gross and uncomfortable as it is without showing hardly any gore, almost no blood at all, is just incredible. Like, the art direction, the directing, the sound, it's perfect. Like, this movie is fantastic. I don't know what else you say about it. It's an incredible movie. And I know people who don't love this franchise or this movie. I mean, this is miles the best movie in the franchise, but I know people that don't love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I guess I get it, but just from a filmmaking standpoint, to see what they did and the conditions they did it, it's incredible. Like, I mean, I just have so much respect for everything about this movie. They nailed it. So 5 out of 5 Never Not Horror howls. We are in agreement this time. Well, we were last time too, but so this is my first 5 out of 5 from our episodes. So all right. Well, that is it. Let us know what you think about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hit us up on Facebook, sharing it all over on my other pages on Instagram and stuff like that. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and it will be my turn, so I will announce that on Facebook. I'll give you a little bit of hint. We've done 3 episodes so far, and the newest one is 45 years old. So we're gonna do something newer next time. I'm gonna move us into the current century.
And I don't even know what it is yet, folks.
So stay tuned. I'll post it online what the next movie is gonna be, but it's gonna be something newer. We're gonna freshen it up a little bit. So we'll be back for that in 2 weeks. If you've enjoyed this show, tell your friends, like, share, review, do what you do, and help us out to spread the word.
Yes, thanks for all the support. We love all you out there that's giving us love and support.
Yep, and I really do. I love any interaction. So if you have thoughts on the episode, if you think this movie sucked, I don't know that I like your opinion, but let us know about it. Tell us about it. Tell us movies that you want us to cover down the road.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a poll someday, like get a fan vote on the next movie we cover it sometime. But let us know what you think, and if you're interested in what we do outside of this podcast, steveclarkbooks.com. You can check out my books, YouTube/Rich Hansel. Check out Richie's channel and support us that way. So we appreciate you, and come back and see us in 2 weeks, where whatever it is, it's never not horror.
Oh yeah.
Slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.